Hello everyone, welcome to another session of structural analysis. So in the previous problems we have seen different types of problems related to static indeterminacy 3. This is the problem which we have seen in the previous class. So in all the previous problems, the problems were related to only static indeterminacy which is equal to only 2, isn't it? The static indeterminacy was only 2. So recently we have seen this problem wherein we have static indeterminacy 3, isn't it? So what are the things we have done in this problem? We all have taken, m1 m, this is that is capital M, then m1, then m2 and m3. So this is the extra part which we have taken in the previous problem where our static indeterminacy was 3 in the entire structure. So the same problem will be taking in the in this present class wherein the static indeterminacy in the problem is 2, but because of the external loading our frame will try to get deflected in some other direction. Okay, so this is what the question is. Analyze the rigid joint and frame shown in figure using flexibility matrix method and draw its bending moment diagram. So as you all can see here, we have a rigid jointed frame, and uh, frame point of view, the entire frame is symmetric, but the loading, when you see the loading on the frame, we have one load which is going exactly in horizontal direction at joint B, and we have another load which is going in exactly downward direction at joint B again. So there are totally two forces acting at the joint. One is 10 kilonewton and 20 kilonewton, which is acting horizontally and vertically respectively, isn't it? So because of this external loading, my frame will try to get deflected in right side direction. My frame will try to get deflected in right side direction. The entire frame will try to get deflected in right side direction because of this rightward sway. So we say this as a sway frame. The entire frame is subjected to sway now. And along with that, you can see the supports. We have at joint A, we have a fixed support, whereas at D, we have hinge support. So as different end conditions are there. So because of that end conditions, again, my frame will try to get a sway. It is a sway frame now. So how to solve this problem? The very first thing in this problem is to calculate first what is the static indeterminacy of this structure. So as we all know, how many unknown reactions are there at joint A? We have totally 3 unknown reactions. What about 2? What about this hinge support? We have 2 unknown reactions. So 5 plus 2 is 3, 3 plus 2 is 5 here, and number of equilibrium equations is 3. So 5 minus 3 is 2. So the static indeterminacy of the structure is 2. So this indicates that the static indeterminacy we got it as 2. So that means the size of the matrix of flexibility will be 2 by 2. If the SI of the structure is 3, then the size of flexibility matrix will be 3 by 3. If the static indeterminacy of the structure is 1, then the size of the matrix will be again 1 by 1. Okay, so always remember the static indeterminacy will resembles or indicates the size of matrix. Okay, so we'll start the problem. How to solve the problem? Since we have two unknown reactions, so we'll remove this two redundants. These two forces we'll remove in this one, and whatever the external loading we have, we'll place those loading as it is. Now we'll try to take down our sections. Sections to be taken from the free end. Okay, since we have removed all the forces at point D, so we'll try to take the sections towards the free end. So the very first section is 1 1, then second is section 2 2, and the third one is section 3 3 in the member AB. So totally we have 3 members AB, BC and CD. So 3 members will have 3 sections. Okay. Next is the section 1 1. The section 1 1 we have taken our distance x from point D is as x. Okay. So that means I have treated origin as D in this member CD. Similarly, if you see if you consider the member BC, I have taken section 2 2 at a distance x from point C. So my origin for this member BC will be equal to C now. Similarly, we have member AB, and I have taken section 33 at a distance x from point B now. So according to this member AB, my uh, origin will be B now. So for this particular figure, we'll go and check our table now. So this table you have to remember, as I'm telling you again and again, that this table has to be remembered by the student, that is region, origin, limit, EI, M, M1, M2, and again this M1, M2, M1 square, M1, M2 by EI, and M2 square by EI. So if you consider the member CD, if you consider a member CD, the origin is, you can see here, origin we have taken as T, where from where the distance is taken, that will be considered as your origin. All right. So this is our origin, that is D. What will be the limit? Limit will be equal to the size of the member. See this member size, length of CD. Length of CD is 0 to 6 meters, right? 0 to 6 meters. So EI, since the modulus of elasticity is not given in the question, so entirely it is mentioned that EI is constant throughout the frame. That is, EI will be 1 EI, not 2 EI or 3 EI, only 1 EI is given in the question. So we'll try to calculate moment at this particular point, okay. So can you see any force on the free end? Do we have any force on the free end of the frame? There is no external force or internal force on the right side or free end of the section. Okay, so that means my moment will be equal to 0 for span CD. You can see here my moment is 0 for span CD in case of our M diagram. Similarly, for member BC, you can see here my section is here, and if I calculate moment at this particular point, if you go towards the free end, we do not have any external force on this member, neither on CD or neither on BC or CD. So that is why moment for this member will be again equal to 0. Okay, now we'll go for the member AB now. If you go towards the member AB, you can see here we have totally two loads which is acting, one in acting horizontal direction and one is acting in vertical direction. So and we all know the line of action of force when passes through the section, then the moment will be equal to 0. So 20 kilonewton is passing through the center of the section, so that means my moment will be equal to 0, whereas my 10 kilonewton load, so 10 kilonewton load is going in clockwise direction. You can see here, always when you calculate moment, keep your thumb on point on the section and see the force. The force is trying to go in clockwise direction, isn't it? So it is going 10 into force is perpendicular distance is x, isn't it? So force is 10 into x. Since we are calculating from the right side of the section, so what happens there? Clockwise moments will be equal to minus, that is negative. All right. So this is how we got minus 10x, force into perpendicular distance. Now we'll go for our M1 diagram. So how to draw our M1 diagram? You can see here my M1 diagram is here. In case of M1 diagram, I have taken A, B, C, my frame, all my sections, section 1, 1, section 2, 2, section 3, 3 are on the same place. Sections will not change at all. Sections will remain on its own place. However, the external loading will change, since you can see here in my M1 diagram, 10 kilonewton and 20 kilonewton has been removed from the figure or from the frame, and we have applied 1 kilonewton load because of unit load method. As per the rules and as per the terms and conditions of unit load method, we are applying this 1 kilonewton load, and again I have applied the load 1 kilonewton, that is HD. You can see here HD. I have applied 1 kilonewton load uh, towards point A. Why? Because you can see here my 10 kilonewton load is trying to um, push the frame towards right hand side. So my reaction HD I am applying in such a way that it should resist the external load. However, we can apply in this direction also. There is no matter or no change, or there is no problem in providing either in this direction or right side or left side direction. It is just just an assumption. Okay, right. So I'm applying in the left side direction. So what is happening here, you can see we'll try to calculate moments on each and every section. So section 1 you can see it is going in clockwise direction. So clockwise direction, right side will be again negative. So 1 into x, you can see here minus 1 into x, you got it here in M1 diagram. Similarly, we have we'll go for section 2 you can see section 2 here in this one. In section 2 you can see here force is going exactly again in clockwise direction, and force into perpendicular distance. See the line of action of force. This is the line of action of force, and perpendicular distance is 6 meters given in the question, that is in the frame. So force is 1 into 6. Again it is going in clockwise direction, so minus 6 into 1 into 6. So what is the answer you are getting here? You can see here minus 1 into 6 is minus 6 kilonewton meter. All right. Similarly, we'll go for span AB. We'll calculate moment at for span AB. You can see here we'll try to calculate at section 3.3. So what is happening here? Till here we don't have any force, but see here HD, the line of action of force is passing from here. So force into perpendicular distance. I want this distance. So this distance will be 6 minus x, isn't it? So it is going again in clockwise direction. So minus 6 into, sorry, minus of 6 minus x. Okay, 1 into 6 minus x is 6 minus x only. Alright, so this is how we got this value. Alright, next we'll go for M2. So how will you apply M2? M2 will be applied in vertical direction. You can see here in our M2 diagram, my M2 diagram, I have applied VD, which is equal to 1 kilonewton load in upward direction, because we have two reactions on hinge support, isn't it? So I have two reactions. So first I have applied and made it as M1 diagram. Now we are going for M2 diagram. We have section 1 section 2 section 3 again on the same place. Even the distances, origin, all are mentioned in the same place. The only thing which has been changed in this M2 diagram is the loading. That is, we have applied 1 kilonewton load following the rules and the terms and conditions of the unit load method again. So we are applying 1 kilonewton load exactly in vertical direction. Now if you calculate moment at this point, you can see here uh, my exact point load is passing through the section. So what happens? Moment will be equal to 0 for that section 1 or member CD. Similarly, when you can see here section 2 force is going in anti-clockwise direction and it is from the right side. So 1 into x. You can see here the very first value is 0, and the second value is force is going in anti-clockwise direction. Anti-clockwise moments are positive, so that is why here 1 into x. Similarly, if you consider the section 3.3, this one, if you consider section 3.3, force is again going in anti-clockwise direction. Force into perpendicular distance, this distance, perpendicular distance, this distance is given as how much? 4 meters. So 1 into 4, which is equal to 4 meters. Okay, so this is how we got these values, and now we'll try to zoom these values to understand this calculation. Okay, so first is integral mm1 by ei into dx, integral mm2 by ei into dx, then integral m1 square by ei into dx. This ei is again very important. We have to mention it very carefully all the time in our tables. So these are the values we have to take. If the static indeterminacy of the structure is 3, then we would have gone for m3, m1, m2, m3, then integral mm1, integral mm2, then integral mm3. This thing we have seen already in our previous problems. Okay, then again here m1 square, m2 square, m3 square, then integral m1 m2, integral m1 m2 m1 m3, then integral m3 m1, like that. Okay, so but here since the static indeterminacy or the SI of the figure is just 2, so we are going for m1 and m2 only. So integral m1 by ei into dx, so integral m1 0 into x is 0 here. Then again integral m1 0 into minus 6 is again 0 here. If you can see here m1, so here minus into minus plus 10 into 10 x into 6 minus 6. If you multiply, if you integrate it with the limits as 0 to 6, so you will get 360 by ei. Similarly, we'll go for mm2. 0 into 0 will be equal to again 0 into x again 0 here, and then again 10 minus 10 in x into 4, that is minus 40x. Just integrate that. You will, by providing limits as 0 to 6, you will get minus 720 by EA. Similarly, m1 square, you can see here integral x, limit should be equal to 0 to 6, so 72 by EI. Similarly, m1 square for this one, that is for 6 minus 6, just integrate that, you will get 144 by EI. Similarly, 72 by EI. So in the next one, m1 m2, you can see here m1 m2, multiply this one, you will get 0. Then again we have m1 m2, that is minus 6x, limit should be equal to 0 to 4, EI is constant all the way, so you will get minus 48 by EI. Similarly, if you go for the next part, that is minus of 6 minus 6 into 4, just integrate it by providing the limits 0 into 6, you will get the value as minus 72 by EI. Similarly, m2 square, this is 0, so this one also becomes 0. Then x integrated by providing the limits 0 to 4, you will get 21.33 by EI. Okay, next again m2 square, so 4 square, limit is 0 to 6, integrated, you will get the value as 96 by EI. Once you get all these values, the only thing which you have to do here is simple summation, a simple addition, or simple general summation of all the values. So you'll get minus 720 by EI, then 288 by EI, then minus 120 by EI, then finally we have 113 by 0.33 by EI. So we'll go to the next slide, wherein we have the flexibility matrix of this figure of these values. So I have substituted all the values here by flexibility matrix method. So 288 by EI minus 120 by EI, all the values we are providing here. So this is 0 since we don't have any sinking of support. So this will be finally HD and VD, we got it as 2.277 and 8.465. So after calculation of these things, we can easily go for these moments also. Okay, once we know these values, two unknowns, then these three unknowns can be calculated with the help of sigma x is equal to 0, sigma y is equal to 0, and sigma m is equal to 0, isn't it? So we'll try to calculate sigma x is equal to 0. HA, we have this HA plus 10 minus 2.278, so you'll get the value of HA as minus 7.722. So that means that my HA is actually going in left side direction. We have assumed in the right side, but actually it is going on the left side, that is 7.72 towards left side. Similarly, if you calculate sigma y is equal to 0, so we have VA plus 8.46. What is this 8.46? 8.466 VD minus 20. How we got this minus 20? We got this minus 20 from here. Okay, so finally we got the value of VA. So once you got all the values, now final thing is we have to calculate the moment at the support A. So MA is equal to all the values, that is minus 10 into 6, then we have 8.46 into 4. So since this force is again passing through point A, so we will not consider that one. So the final moment is 26.16 kilonewton meter, and moment at B and moment at C we can calculate with the help of simple calculations, and however moment at A will be equal to 0, we all know, right? Because it is a fixed simply support or hinge support. So always hinge support does not have any moment, isn't it? So moment will not be available on this one, that is simply support or hinge support. So calculate this one, so you will get all the values of moments directly with the help of simple sigma x, sigma y, and sigma m is equal to 0. Whereas the extra add-ons, that is the extra unknown reactions or unknown forces, can be calculated with the help of this flexibility matrix. Okay, so this is the figure for your um, bending moment diagram. This is how you will get the bending moment diagrams. All the values are already there in the figure, isn't it? So this is the this is how we calculate our unknown reactions for a sway frame, a frame which is sway. Okay. So now we'll go for the next problem. In the next problem, we have a separate rigid jointed frame. So we can calculate this one easily with the help of flexibility matrix method. You can see the question here, that is analyze the pin joint and frame shown in figure using flexibility matrix method, and it is given L by AE is equal to 0.25 centimeter per kilonewton. Now what is this? We can see easily here. So you can see here static indeterminacy. How to calculate static indeterminacy of a pin joint and frame? So we have internal, first is external, another one is internal. So what is external? External is nothing but how many unknown reactions are there on the outer surface. See here we have two unknown reactions on the outer surface because it is hinge support. This is a hinge support, so that is why it has two unknown reactions. Similarly here we have one roller support, so this has only one reaction, we all know this one. So how many unknown reactions are there? 1, 2 and 3. So totally 3 unknown reactions are there. So this is degree of static indeterminacy, external static indeterminacy. This is D suffix E. Okay, D suffix E. So 3 minus 3, 3 unknown reactions and 3 equilibrium equations. So is equal to 0. 3 minus 3 is 0. So degree of static external static indeterminacy is 0. Now we'll go for degree of static internal static indeterminacy. To calculate that, we have a simple formula, that is m minus of 2j minus 3. That is, what is m? M is number of members and j is number of joints. So you can see here in our rigid pin jointed frame, how many members are there? 1, 2, 3, 4 members. Then again diagonal members are also there, that is 4 plus 1, 2, that is 6 members. So 6 minus of how many joints are there? 1, 2, 3 and 4 joints. So minus of 2 into 4 minus 3. Once you apply this one, you will get the value as 1. So degree of internal and external to be added totally to get the final static indeterminacy of the structure, that is 0 plus 1 is equal to 1. So here the static indeterminacy of the structure is 1 now. So how to calculate that? First is calculate all the external unknown reaction, that is calculate sigma x is equal to 0. So sigma x is equal to 0 if you do 5 plus HA. So 5 is going in horizontal direction, positive x direction, whereas HA is going in negative x direction, isn't it? So 5 plus HA is equal to 0. You got one equation. So that means HA is equal to minus 5 kilonewton. Similarly, we have sigma y is equal to 0. So once you calculate y is equal to 0, simple calculations, that is VA plus VB is equal to 10. Take moments of all forces about point A is equal to 0. So you'll get the value of VB and VA as 55 kilonewton. So now in the next step, what we have to do here is we have to take all the individual joints. Before that, since our static indeterminacy of the structure is only one, so what we are doing here, you can see here, we are removing this entire diagonal member and we are placing 1 kilonewton load over here. We are removing this diagonal member, the entire diagonal member has been removed, okay, and we are placing 1 kilonewton here and 1 kilonewton over here. So you can see here at joint A, what we have done here, you can see here we have removed this entire one. So sigma x is equal to 0, FAB minus 5. We have removed the entire force. In the 1 kilonewton will be taken in the next part of the problem. Okay. So FAC, then 5 kilonewton is going in upward direction. All four forces are there. So force in member AB will be is equal to 5. So once you go for sigma y is equal to 0, force in member AC will be equal to minus 5 kilonewton. You just a simple calculations of sigma x, sigma y for this one. Okay. Next we'll go for joint B. If you go to joint B, we have here how many members? Force in member AB, force in member BD and force in member BC. So once you go calculate sigma x is equal to 0 minus FAB minus FBC cos 45 is equal to 0. How we got this cos 45? With the help of this one. See here 45, 4 meter and 4 meter. So if with the help of this hypotenuse, we can get this value, that is tan 45 is 1. So 4 by 4 is 1, so 45 degrees. So F force in member BC is equal to say minus 7.07. We got the force in member BC. Similarly, if you go calculate sigma y is equal to 0, we'll get the value of force in member BD again. All the values. Force in member BD is equal to 0 we got. Similarly, we'll go for joint D. So sigma x is equal to 0 if you do. We have force in member CD is equal to 0 and even force in member BD is also equal to 0. Now, after this one, what we will do, we'll start our second part of the problem. Second part, in this second part, what we will be doing here, you can see here, I'll be applying force in member AB, force in member AC, but I'll not be applying the external load here. However, I'll be applying the internal static indeterminacy, that is 1 kilonewton load. So we are applying these loads. So we'll get the value of force in member AB as 0.707. Similarly, sigma y is equal to 0 if you do force in member AC will also becomes 0.7071. Similarly, we'll go for joint B again. All the calculations will be same as previous calculations. Calculations will be in the same fashion. The only thing is we have removed the external forces, that is external reactions, and we have played the unit load, that is 1 kilonewton at that particular joint. Okay, so by replacing all these one, we have calculated all the values of force in member AB, force in member CD. Similarly, we'll calculate sigma y is equal to 0 with the help of this one. We get the value of force in member BD and force in member DB or BD, both. Similarly, joint C if you do, you will get the force in member CD. So once you get all the values, what we do here is, we'll try to zoom it here. So again, for pin jointed frame, the table is something like this, that is member length L by AE, P and P1, P1 L by AE, P1 square L by AE, net force. So what we do here is AB, length of member, we are taking in mm. Okay, we are taking all the values in mm. AB, BD, BC, CA and CD, DA, all these members, whatever the members you can see here over there, we are taking that. Then length, all the lengths are 400 mm. The diagonals are 400 into root 2. So L by AE it is given, that is 0.25 centimeter per kilonewton. So that is why we are taking here as in centimeter. Length we are taking in 400 centimeters. So P1, how we got this P and P1? We got this, the value of P and P1 from here. You can see here, force in member AB, right? What is the first member? What is the first member? We have force in member AB, no? So you can go to the previous case and you can see here force in member AB, the equation force in member AB. The next slide actually. Here, this is what force in member AB is, 5 kilonewton. So you can see here 5 kilonewton, and the next value is P1. We got one more value, that is 0.707, isn't it? Similarly, force in member BD we got first as 0, then next value is 0.7071. Similarly, in the first equation, this P is with external force, P1 is without external force. Okay, so this is how we got all the values, 0.7071, 0.707 and all. So PP1 L by AE, that means you just have to multiply these three values, put it over here. Then again multiply these three values, you have to put it over here. Then again P1 square L by AE, that is P1 square these values, multiply with L by AE, you will get all these values. So what we are doing here, add all the values here, add all the values here, that is these values are flexibility matrix method, flexibility matrix, and all these values are delta L. So sigma P1 square L by AE will be equal to flexibility matrix, and F1 is equal to F inverse. Just do the inverse of the value, you will get the value of force in external member, that is 1.76 kilonewton. Okay, this is how we calculate unknown forces or force in the unknown diagonal members with the help of flexibility matrix method. Okay, so these calculations you can do it in your calculators to get the final values. Okay, net force also we can calculate with the help of P1 P or else P plus P1 square. Okay, so with the help of this, with this we have completed our first unit of structural analysis 2. So I request everyone to go through the entire videos carefully and try to maintain these notes, because these notes will be helpful for you for the examinations as well as in the next semesters, upcoming semesters also. All right.